Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today is going to be a really interesting video because I'm not going to just interview one comic collector. I'm going to interview two comic collectors, a husband and wife team. This is my dream. Like, I actually want to get my wife into collecting comics. Maybe if she sees this video, she'll be encouraged to be like, oh, maybe I should be interested in comics too. So I'm doing an interview open by chance. They are not just comic collectors. They have a massive toy collection too. They just like you'll see. Once you see them, you'll be like, "Oh my goodness." Behind them is just like this crazy wall of just amazing toys. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring them on and do the interview. Hello,
Buddy.
Trinissa and David, right? Did I say your name correctly?
Yes.
Cool, cool. I had to practice actually. I was like, oh, I don't want to say it wrong, embarrass myself too much. Um, so tell me a little bit about yourself, how you guys got into the hobbies, I guess, because it's not just one hobby, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one that's been doing it the longest, and
Mhm.
going way back, actually, in the early '90s, I used to work with Great Eastern Conventions and New England Comics, and I used to freelance with New England Comics. I didn't work for them directly, but I would do before it was a thing, cleaning and pressing,
Oh
because
wow.
yeah, nobody cared about that before grading, but
Mhm.
yeah, I used to do a little of that. And I used to help them with their grading and so on. And basically, I was working for a discount. But and
That's cool.
I used to do the Great Eastern shows. I used to attend all of those. I don't think they're around anymore. And so I was into mostly toys, but comic books also.
Mhm.
And I got back into toy collecting because, well, kind of hard to explain, but I had just stumbled across something from childhood and
Mhm.
bought it, and that jumped me off back into the idea of collecting toys. And to some degree, the vintage toy collecting and comic collecting kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the action figures are usually related to the comics and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, a lot of the people that I've interviewed in the past have all like sort of recently got back into the hobby. They collected comics as kids, and then they got back into the hobby as adults. And then, hey, I can buy cooler comics. so, like, um, so yeah. So, how did you get your? How did Trinissa? How did you get into it?
I started collecting actually toys in 2016. David bought me a Funko Pop for Christmas.
Okay, cool. Do
And
you remember which one?
yeah, it was the Undertaker Funko Pop because I'm a big
Wrestling.
Undertaker. Yeah,
Mhm.
wrestling, the classic wrestling, WWF wrestling. And the Undertaker is my favorite wrestler. And he bought me that pop. And I'm like, what is this? And it grew on me. And then I
Mhm.
started collecting Funko Pops. And then I started collecting Masters of the Universe. And it just grew from there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But with comic books, actually, I started collecting that maybe about 6 months ago, the
Mhm.
actual magazine style, because I was getting omnibus at first, because I like
Mhm.
reading things in one book. I didn't like the idea of having a bunch of different magazines and then you got to pull it out and read it. We would go to comic book conventions and I would just sit to the side because I wasn't into it. But then I
Mhm.
started looking at the covers. I found your channel, which I don't know if it was
Mhm.
good or bad because you really got me into the classic,
The older stuff.
yeah, the
Older
golden
stuff.
age of comics, and I started seeing the covers and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I wanted to read the story to figure out who the character was. So that's how I got
Mhm.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's cool.
we attend a lot of shows because we film them for our channel.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah,
most
yeah,
of course.
yeah. I saw that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. I always try to film in those shows, but I found it really quite hard to do.
It's difficult.
It is very
Yeah.
hard to do because you got a lot of people and there you got to get around them. You want to make sure that you don't film any faces. And then some
Mhm.
vendors don't want you to film. Some of them
Yeah.
want you to, and they're
Yeah.
happy. Um, so it's a up and down, you know.
Yeah.
The
And
big
then
challenge I always had was my kids. They would always be like pulling at me or something and like asking me for something or other. And
Sure.
they didn't really, it made it hard to film. So that was my challenge.
Yeah.
yeah,
But,
especially at the comic shows, because people they get really tight up on the tables trying to look through the long boxes.
yeah.
Not much elbow room.
Yeah, it's harder to film at a comic book convention than a toy, because at the comic book you just stand there in one
Yeah.
spot, and you know, you got that guy that's always standing in that one spot for like an hour, and that's the
Yeah.
box you want to get into. So it's hard to get around all that, but you know, you do the best you can.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
find some, you
what?
find some gems on those boxes too
I know.
if you really. I
You have to
pulled
be patient though. You got to go through a lot of boxes. Oh wow, you
I-
found that in just some random box? Wow, that's really cool.
that's number 54, 1949.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I just it was rolled up really bad though,
Oh
so I
really?
just cleaned and pressed this one. But the pages are like milk. They're the whitest pages you ever saw.
Oh,
It's
nice.
clean. It was just that it was rolled up real bad. It was like almost an inch of overlap on the back.
So did you like did it had a spine roll as well, and you fixed the spine roll?
Yeah, I got it flat again. I didn't want to do too much more with it because of the age of the book, but I got the spine roll out of it.
Do you ever like send those to CGC or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I read it too. But
yeah, that's always good.
there's a great story in here about a guy who he runs across someone else who looks like him. It's a Batman story, obviously,
Yeah.
and follows him around for like 2 years, learning his patterns, and kills him so he can replace him because he thinks he has a better life.
Oh wow.
And yeah,
I just don't
Batman
know about that.
or Bruce Wayne figures it out because they're having lunch and he was like, "This guy doesn't sound right. Something happened to him. Let me check this out." But yeah, I mean, I pulled this out of a bin. I'm like, oh my God, because I used to have, and talking about getting back into, because I was out of toy and comic collecting for a very long time
Mhm.
because my ex stole my collection.
Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I did a video on that a long time ago because people were asking, but it was stuff I'll never replace. And I had Batman's going all the way back to issue 30. And
Wow.
I'm like, it's so hard to find that stuff now. But so finding that was like really nice for me.
So yeah, like since you're showing comics from your collection, how about you show show some more stuff that that you brought for us today?
I got some more recent stuff. You'll appreciate this one. We picked this up. Which show was that? Was it
The Atlanta
Atlanta
Comic
Comic
Convention.
Convention? I just found this one.
Like last weekend, I think.
Oh, I think
Convention.
is that behind me?
I think that's that one behind you. I think.
Is it?
Wait, I can't see.
It's
No,
the
it's not.
fourth book. The fourth book behind you.
No, it's a different one.
Oh,
But I have that book, but it's in a box over there.
I love that one. Of course, that's Eerie 17. And it's like the skeleton jumps out, but then he's like, oh, wait a minute, check her out.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
a
It's
little,
a nice headlight cover.
yeah. And the guy, it was sitting up on the wall. It wasn't priced, and I hate that. But
Yeah.
this
Because you
one,
never know what they're going to say.
yeah. But he negotiated pretty well for that, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll take it. And
Like,
I love
can you
these.
say how much you paid? Do you remember how much you paid?
Like around 2.
200?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
actually really cheap. I think I paid 400 or 500 for mine.
Yeah, and this one, I haven't done anything with it. I wanted to read it, but then I might clean it up a little bit. There's a lot of creases in it, but I can iron that out.
Looks really nice. It's a sharp copy.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
That's the last issue from that series.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you probably know better than I would on that one. And this one too. I love these. I know. I don't know. A lot of people are into this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, Archie.
Yeah, and this is Atomic Age, obviously, number 86 for Laugh.
Mhm.
And it's another one that not only is it like a clean copy, but the pages are just chalk. They're so clean. And again, you already know some of these older books, it's not always easy to find them with such clean white pages.
Yeah, usually off-white is like what you'd expect is a good page quality.
Yeah, and this, especially with the bright colors they would use, all the reds and oranges, to find it with hardly any breaks except for a couple of ticks.
Mm.
That's not bad, but I just wanted to show you here so you can see what I mean. Where you see how clean that is.
Yeah, it looks really good. Usually with the Archies, you get some writing in it or some crazy stuff.
Yeah, but I'm a fan of the old Archies.
Yeah. I only recently got into collecting Archie, maybe about 2, 3 years ago. I had a bunch from when I was a kid, but they're all like from the 70s and 80s. But I only got recently into the Golden Age Archie. I really, really love some of the innuendo covers and the
Mm-hmm.
art.
And I used to watch the show because the Filmation, the original Archie show, was what, I think 1969, and they had a couple of incarnations, Sabrina the Teenage Witch and stuff like that. They used to have a musical interlude, and their album actually charted because the song "Sugar Sugar" is from the Archie show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was a top 10.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've got the Marks and the Mattel Archie figures from the early 70s based off the show.
Wow.
And yeah, this just touches that nostalgia button.
Okay. Anything else that you want to show? Or
Another-
how about we alternate? How about Trinissa? You show something.
Okay.
She's got a lot. No. Oh, she just picked.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna make you big. Okay. 1 sec here. Sorry, I should have made you big when that. There
Okay,
we
so
go.
I got this one, Brother Voodoo. I saw this and the cover to me was very interesting. And then of course the name, and I wanted to know who this person is. So the run is only 5 issues.
Or five spots in Strange Tales.
Yeah.
So I have 2. So I just need to get 3 more and then I can read this and see what it's about. But I thought the cover was just great and it made me want to figure out who he is.
And that was she found that one really cheap too.
Yeah.
But that's the second appearance.
That's his second appearance. Actually, I don't have that book. I wanted to use that book for I did a snake cover challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I was looking for it. I thought I had it, but I didn't have that book. That's a great book.
This one, I love the cover on this one.
Let's make it big again. This is Wrightston, right?
Yeah, the House of Mysteries. And I love the tree and how the tree looks like it's about to eat the kids.
Yeah.
I like
good when kids are eating.
I like the horror comics. The cover horror comics are the best. And
yeah, House of Mystery is awesome.
Yeah.
That is a Bernie Wrightston cover, right?
Oh, I can't tell you. I don't know. David, open it up and look and see who it is.
This is Wrightson. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it looks his style. That's why I was saying.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, David, show 2 more. Yes,
okay, David's turn.
Here's another one that's up your alley. I got this at a show just recently too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I lost a bit on that just recently. I was trying to buy that one.
I know, getting a lot of reflection. I think it's the
it's the Mylars. I always have that problem too.
The bag. I think that's a little better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such a cool cover.
Yeah, I love this classic feel. That golden age feel to these.
I'm a big fan of Good Girl plus sci-fi. Like I kind of like, so I really like the sci-fi version.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you probably like Alien Worlds then for a more modern title. I think it's an 80s title. Alien
Yeah,
Worlds.
I have that complete collection.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do you? Excellent.
Yeah.
I have I think I have one here that I pulled out because I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, there's a David Stevens is in that as well. He did one of the covers. So here, I'll make you big again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
it's really nice. Oh, 9/8 too. Wow.
But the art on this series was fantastic. The cover art
Yeah,
and the Twisted Tales also, which is advertised on the back.
yeah. There's some pretty interesting comics in there. Number 5 is really controversial. So yeah, I have both those PC books.
And then this one
Oh, sorry.
is the Witching Hour. I love the skeleton or the skeleton over here, and how on it's several books where they use the skeleton, and the skeleton is like doing things. Like this one, he's a bus driver. I have another one where he's a bus driver and a traffic guard and all kinds of stuff, and I think that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really cool cover.
Yeah. And this one, Phantom.
Oh, that's a major issue. Oh, you both have it.
Yeah.
We
So
find
that's actually a key.
we pull these out of the bins. Yeah, this is prototype Swamp Thing,
Yeah.
but we both pulled these out of bins.
Mhm.
Just sitting there.
Yeah. So that one was cool. And David gonna show some of his. Yeah.
Here, this is just this one is like one of my miracle presses, because this thing was like a 7 before I started working on it,
Oh wow.
and then submitted it and pulled it all the way to a 9.6.
That's pretty
It
impressive.
It had like and you can't even tell now. It had like scratches across here, like about 3 inches long, 4 of them. It looked like maybe a cat was sitting on the book and got up and ran and swiped it.
Oh wow.
And the indentations went all the way to like the 3rd or 4th page.
But it didn't color break?
No, that's the thing. I was looking at it and I'm like, there's got to be, looking on the back of the thing and to see if there was a hole or something. It didn't color break. And I was like, oh my God, I think I can fix
That's
that out.
really lucky.
But pressed it all the way to a 9.6. So
Wow.
what am I? Because I like the challenge of that.
Mhm.
How well can you do? And then like this one,
Oh,
maybe
nice.
it might have been an 8.5 or a 9 when I started with it and pulled it up that high. I mean, you can't always do that, but just a couple of great examples of the pressing and cleaning.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really great. So do you still do pressing and cleaning for other people or just for yourself?
I do it for other people sometimes. I'm not like I don't do it a whole lot, but I do have some people that have contacted me and said, "Hey, can you do some books for me?" Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm too scared to do it personally.
I think I saw this one on your channel actually.
No, I don't have that one, but I have others from that title.
Okay, some on one of the channels I saw this book and they were telling the story about this guy and I was like, what? So I had to get it, but this is the reprint and several of them, Shock and Suspense, Haunt of Terror, and Tales from the Crypts were reprints, and I'll get the reprints of those because the original is just way too much.
Yeah, the originals are crazy. Crazy price.
Yeah,
especially stuff like this, and that was a good story too.
Yeah, we read this story. Well, we read the whole book, and the stories in there are just crazy. You're like, oh my God.
So is that story actually in the book?
Yeah, this story of this guy is in the book. He killed his dad. He got hooked on drugs, and he needed some money and killed his dad.
His dad wouldn't give it to him.
Yeah.
Or no, it was his kit. He wanted his fix kit, what they used to call it when with these guys.
Yeah, when you have like all the drug paraphernalia.
And his dad had found out and he was like, "No, son, I put it up and you got to stop living like this." And he went nuts and it ended up killing him.
Yeah.
Didn't even.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. Now this one I know I saw on your channel. When you do that, the one on Monday.
Mark showed that one.
Yeah, he did this one, and I found this one at a show in the bin for like $2-3, and I thought it was just the funniest thing. This guy wants to get the Bibles across the border. Yeah. He can minister to the
smuggling in Bibles of all the things.
do you not realize you're going to be eventually driving through a checkpoint? I mean, you can't like
Yeah.
huff the woods or something. No, take that risk. And the Bibles are like right there.
Yeah. I know, it's really funny.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh, you
sorry.
want me to show another one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Show another one. Sure.
Okay. I think I'm not sure. Oh no, but this one is from Sinister House. Before it became Sinister House of Horror. Yeah, Sinister House Horror. The first 4 books, and then it changed the title in book 5.
Yeah. So that's sort of like romance plus like horror, right?
Horror
Yeah.
romance, yeah.
Yeah, because I like the romance books. Romance, war, and horror.
Yeah, three genres of comic collecting that have just kind of faded away. I think the romance titles completely died off with Charlton.
Yeah.
And who's doing war books? Rogue Trooper was probably the last really war title, and that was still post-apocalyptic. You know?
I was never really into the war stuff, but I do actually like the romance books. Like there's some really cool ones, and I've always liked horror. So, but you can pick most of those up so cheap now because there isn't the fan base. But I have a feeling those will become hot again. Like,
yeah, because you have some covers that are kind of controversial, like the one with the Nazi covers or with the Japanese people on the cover.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff people go after, but you can still find it fairly cheap in the dollar bins.
Some of them you can, yeah. If if they're not like spick and span grades, they're you don't mind that they might be a little rough around the edges. You can still.
Well, as long as you know a good presser,
yeah,
you should be fine.
Yeah, and I find cleaned and pressed. I know a guy, and he cleans and press my books for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I've done a few for here. I got something I can show you that some of the people watching might not have seen before. I got to put the gloves on.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. This is when when somebody brings out the big book, it's like, oh, I got to put the gloves on.
It's not a book, but it's comic related, and they're test shot transparencies. I don't know if you've seen those. Have you ever seen those?
I think so, but
basically what it is, and this is from Batman number 170, and this is page 6, 1965, and that's Sheldon Moldoff's art. And I'll open this up and I'll show you what I mean here. When they used to, and this isn't done anymore. They don't make these anymore because when they would getting ready to go to print, you have your big art page, the big panel.
Yeah.
And they would make a big transparency, and they would make like 1, and then they would reduce it to the size of the book, which would look like this, and that's a monochrome transparency. And then they would colorize it. But when they did that, usually there's only 1. Unless there was a mistake, there's no need to make another one. So they haven't done this since the 90s because computers took over that industry. They stopped in like between 95 and 97. And this is, I got to get it off the backing board here without causing a problem. There we go. You see, it's like an animation cell.
Yeah.
And there's actually 2 of them because one is for the words.
One's for the bubbles. Yeah.
One's for the art. And it's like a really high gloss metallic ink, like the kind, I don't know how well it's translating here, but
I see it quite well.
Yeah, it's very highly reflective. So like an automotive paint. And it's one of these areas of like collecting from comics that gets no love at all, because literally this may be the only one for this page. But
Yeah.
if I were to sell it, I probably couldn't get $50 for it.
That's really sad.
Yeah, people aren't thinking about that right now. But you never know when it's going to jump off because I
Well,
remember
how do you even find those kind of things?
you can find them on eBay. There are sellers who've got them. You know, they bought out, found them in a warehouse or something. There's one big seller on eBay. He must have 1,000,000 of them that he got from a warehouse buyout, and he sells them at.
I think what you'd want to do is get certain pages that would be,
Yeah,
key pages.
depending upon the book,
Yeah.
certain books are worth a lot more. Like, or a cover, like this is a monochrome cover, test shot, or
So then
something.
they would colorize that after and then use that to print.
They'll make a color scale one like this,
Oh,
and
that's
then
really cool.
that's Justice League of America number 81, page 23.
His leg looks like it's bent in a weird way, and it looks like he's going to get a concussion.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's being attacked by football players. I mean, they tackled him there. But I think these are great, but it reminds me of like when I used to go to, again, the Great Eastern Conventions, and there were dealers there that had bins. You don't see this anymore. Bins full of animation cells and full of original art pages, like $5-10 a page. Animation cells like 2 and 3 for $5 because they couldn't give them away. Now that stuff's
I like the animation cells. I picked up like some Smurfs and some X-Men from the original series, the X-Men cells.
Yeah, and I've got some animation cells from back I've got some from Dilbert. I had a bunch from Masters of the Universe, but somebody took them from me. Stuff like that, Brave Star. But back then, they couldn't give that stuff away. Now it's worth a fortune. I mean, look how much that cover art, the original cover art for the first appearance of Wolverine, went for a few. Like a year or two ago. It was like what, 1,000 or something crazy.
Yeah, something crazy, yeah.
And again, this is something if people are interested in like any of the art process from comic books, and they're all vintage because, like I said, between 95 and 97, the industry just went away. We can do it on a computer cheaper, so screw all this, shut those presses down. And you can still, if anyone's interested, find them inexpensive on.
Yeah, it's cool. I like those kind of one of a kind kind of pieces.
If anything catches your eye, like that, just it's page 6, but that's pretty neat.
It's a cool page. I mean, the Batmobile is not having a good day, but
yeah, just to have something to frame up or whatever.
Yeah. I've actually seen people framing up the old newspapers, even the newspaper strips.
Especially the Sunday strips.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of that stuff you can pick up cheap. So
yes,
but it looks cool. It looks cool when framed.
I like to throw that out for people too. Sometimes when they're talking about, because like, I can't afford vintage stuff. Yeah, you can. You just gotta
know what to look for.
What you're looking for, because I get that a lot with the we have the big toy collection, and I can't afford the vintage stuff because the new stuff so I buy the new stuff, and I'm like, in a lot of cases, unless it's something very genre specific, like carded raw GI Joes can be expensive, but most of the other vintage stuff, it's not that bad, and a lot of the modern toys and action figures cost more than their vintage counterparts.
Yeah, it's weird. That's the same with comics, right? It's like weird how that is.
Especially when you get into variants and stuff like that, and people paying crazy amounts for variants, but I can't afford the. Yeah, you can. Look around and pick your poison.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be recording a show, like a series where I'm going to be doing like Would You Rather, and then showing some modern like 9/8 kind of comic or like some golden age comic, same value, but which would you rather have?
Which one is truly rare?
Not just truly rare, but which would you rather have? And like look at all the key things. Potential to go up, coolness factor, all these kind of things and really comparing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, that sounds interesting.
yeah, that's something I'm working on. So yeah, Janissa, do you have anything else you want to show or?
Yeah, I got some more books. If y'all want to see more books.
Yeah.
So this one is
I love that series.
Forbidden Love. And again, this one turned into just Dark Mansion at episode 5 or book 5.
Mm-hmm.
I keep calling them episodes. This one is a little different. Mandrake. This is the Golden Age one. I do have the one from the Silver Age, and the story's not that great. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't read the Mandrakes. I always thought they had cool covers, so I liked them.
Yeah, they got really cool covers, but then I started reading the book. Like I said, the Silver Age one, I started with book 1, and the stories are kind of lame.
The stories are like for 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh, Batman in the Shadow. I love the Shadow, and I'm a big fan of Batman. So the two of them were on a cover together, so I had to get it.
Yeah, that's Neil Adams too.
Yeah, I like Neil Adams. I'm starting to learn who the artists are.
Oh, no, here we go with that.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah.
This is a good one. I like the drug covers. So
yeah.
I'm going to work on getting some drug covers. And I got both of them.
Oh, that's good. I was going to say, did you get the set?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I was having the most difficulty trying to get the one with Speedy, where he's like where he's getting the first one you showed.
Oh, this.
Yeah, I had so much difficulty finding that book. Every time I would try to get it, it just sell, and I'd be like, oh, so annoying.
It's a ton of them on eBay, but I found this one I found both of these at the recent comic book convention. Somebody had both of these, and this one I found he had a better copy, but then he also had one in the bin that was super cheap. So I got the one out of the bin because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And I'm not big on the condition. As long as the page is not torn off or the cover is on, I'm fine.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan. Not Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan, and this is John Stewart.
John Stewart. John Stewart's first appearance.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have 2 more. I like this one. This head here.
It looks almost like something that would have been in EC or something like that, right?
Yeah, it does. And when I saw it, I saw this first, and I was like, man, it's cool. And then I looked up and it said Batman. I'm like, wow, what's that about?
Doesn't look like Batman.
This is the grail for me. I wanted this book so bad. And we went to the most recent show, and actually a guy had this book for like $2,000, and I thought he was crazy because it wasn't a graded book. It was a raw book like this. And somebody else had it at a more reasonable price.
Yeah.
So a more reasonable price.
Been seeing a lot of that recently in the actually building up in the last couple of years, where you see these dealers and they've got a raw book up for a graded price. And it's like, even if that is the grade, there's a difference. There's a raw graded price, even if they're both 9s or 9.2s or whatever, 8s. There's a raw and a graded value, but they want a graded value for the raw book.
Yeah.
And then you don't know for sure if that's the grade because it's subjective.
The other thing that I've noticed with a lot of dealers is they really haven't gotten the memo that the market is kind of going down. Yeah. And I'm still seeing them listing. And I'm still seeing them list books at like 20-30% over fair market value. It's crazy. It's like hello, your price is a bit much. Yeah.
And then you can a lot of times if you go on eBay or sometime Mercari, you can find the same book way cheaper. And the local comic book stores have the books marked way up sometimes. Sometimes you a deal, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And then you end up going on like eBay or something like that to buy your books, and people say support your local comic book shop, but then the prices
They
are
don't
so
support you. So why?
yeah, exactly.
You know, and the other one that gets me with those too is the negotiation issue. Because if I go to, I've done this, you go to your local comic shop
Yeah.
and they will not work with you. They will, oh no, I can't, I can't do this, I can't do that. You catch them at a convention, that same book, they'll bend over backwards to get rid of it. And it's like, why couldn't you give me 20% off in the shop? You know, what
Yeah,
I
that makes sense.
but I've actually caught people up with that, and they'll negotiate at the show, I guess, because they're thinking, oh my God, I paid to get in here and I paid to drive out here and I don't want to repack this, and they'll start wheeling and dealing. But at the show, I mean, you could be piling up a stack of books and like, nah, I can't really do anything, and oh, we have a policy. Is
Yeah, I was like going to the very like maybe the last hour or two of the show,
yeah,
and then making all the deals.
yeah,
Like
that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
you get some pretty awesome deals where they're like, oh, I don't really want to take this back with me. I saw one guy, he had like maybe 10 long boxes,
Hmm.
and they were all like, they were considered $5 bins, like, and he was selling all 10 long boxes for it was like 700 Canadian, so like 500 US maybe,
For
Mhm.
everything in the box?
for everything, for all.
Wow.
So like I don't know how many comics that would be. That'd be like maybe 3,000 comics or something crazy. But
Just because he didn't want to pack them.
Yeah.
more pack them. I was like, well, it's a great deal. I have no idea how I could take them back. It's like, what do you do with 10 long boxes? It's like,
Yeah, strap them to the roof of your car. Get some
yeah,
bungee.
would
Yeah,
have been very interesting.
on top of them. Tell them to hold it
You
down.
ever see someone driving down the road with a mattress and they got their arm and it's like out the window and his buddy's over here like this?
I did that. I almost killed people once doing that. I bought this really large painting. Like it was like a huge painting. It was like at Winners or one of those places. And it was like $50. So you can't resist. It's like this massive painting. So we couldn't fit it into the car. It just would not fit into the car. So we put it on the roof of the car and we held it with our hands as we're driving down the highway. And we were going like 100. So this thing was like catching wind,
Sure.
and it was like pulling, like we were like struggling to like hold this thing onto the car. And it was really bad. Like we barely made it home. Like I was probably committing multiple crimes. If it fell off, it would have killed probably dozens of people, right? But oh well, I was younger, not so smart. I don't know what I was doing. So, yeah.
Here's one you don't see every day.
Oh, Abbott and Costello. That's really cool.
Charlton, number one.
Nice.
Down with this and that.
Hmm.
Down.
Down with up.
And then you get your Virgin cover on the back there.
Nice. I just got I think in one of my recent unboxings I show, oh, you're gonna see it soon if you watch my channel. I just did unboxing with Abbott and Costello's first appearance.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that a photo cover?
No, it's actually it's in like Super Magician comic.
Oh, okay.
Like they just appear in it. It's kind of weird. They're not on the cover, but they're in the book. I actually collect a lot of the Abbott and Costellos from the Golden Age, not the Charlton ones, but the earlier St. John's, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
They have some really awesome covers. Like Lily Renee did the covers for them, and they're just fun, good girl art covers from the Golden Age.
Yeah, I just couldn't resist because even the Charlton, you never see those.
Oh yeah. The Charlton ones are actually quite hard to get in any condition, like in good condition, because the Charlton, the paper quality was fairly bad, like fairly bad. Like I'm trying to say it nice way. It was crap. Okay. But yeah, but no, that's a very cool book. Very cool.
Yeah.
So do you have any toys you want to show? By the way, I should ask. You know,
I brought two
all these toys in behind you.
toys.
Or if you saw anything that was interesting and you wanted to ask.
Oh, which way did I go? So I got this. Oh, I got this one as a representative, and this is from the 82 Masters of the Universe, and it's who's that? Skeletor and Panther. And I collect toys in the box. I'm an in the box collector.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't take anything out of the box except for, of course, statues, or if I got a 1/6 scale figure, I'll take that out of the box.
The combo packs like this were usually like store exclusives, like Sears or Reward or something like that. So it's really, really hard to find those.
Yeah, and I got one more.
This
I would imagine kids would have played with those, so you'd think they'd get opened a lot. So
yeah, but some kid got it and it got
didn't care.
Didn't care enough to open it. Oh, it's upside down. Is it in the screen? Yeah, it's in the shot. This one is from Transformers, and this is Megatron, but it's the Japanese version before it became the American version that we all know of. And you can see all of the parts.
Oh, wow.
It's all die cast.
Yeah, there's a huge difference because this is pre-Transformers. Takara was making these in 1974.
Wow.
And it's this one's unused, but it's all die cast because Hasbro changed quite a bit, and though that's the ammunition because it actually would shoot.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
This thing shoots.
Yeah,
so it can take out eyes everywhere. Cool. That's really nice.
G0, if you will.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I like when it's in the case like that, and you can, you know, and I actually was expecting like more of the robot, but that's like a massive gun. Like that's
yeah, because that's what they were going for. And Takara actually made one that looks like a revolver also, but Hasbro never duplicated that one. But everything, there's a catalog in there of Transformers. Every Transformer that Hasbro sold all the way through the 80s is in that catalog. Wow. But that's all from like 1974.
Yeah.
When it was what, Diaclone?
Yeah, Diaclone.
Yeah. The funny thing is you can't get away with that gun nowadays. Like they have to have the orange cap nowadays, right?
Yeah, and now because Hasbro re-released the Transformers, but when they did the Megatron, they made him into a tank.
Yeah, he's a tank.
So he's not a gun anymore.
So they only redid the G2 Megatron because that's from later in the series when he was a vehicle instead of a gun.
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard to drive around if you're a gun. It's like, what do you do? It's like you're a gun. Okay, well.
He would transform and somebody would shoot him, but they don't want that anymore. It's too violent.
I guess, or whatever.
So they don't want to promote guns.
Whatever.
So now he's a tank.
Oh, well, that's cool. So what kind of comics or toys are you guys chasing after right now?
Now I'm trying to scale down and concentrate on certain things, and I wrote it down. I'm collecting Dead of Night. That's an 11 book series, and I only need 3 more to complete it. So I'm getting that, and Brother Voodoo, I only need 3 more, and I'll complete that. And I want to complete the Phantom Stranger, and I want to say that's 43 books. I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I think I may have 20.
Do you have the early ones or the later ones?
No, I have the later ones because I know you told me that the Golden Age, I think you said it was 5 or 6 books, but I have the Silver Age.
Yeah, it's 6 books in the Golden Age, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. I can't even find that. Even on eBay, I can't even find it.
The Phantom Stranger Golden Age are almost impossible to find. Like
Yeah.
they come up for auction maybe once a year, and
Mhm.
and it's really like a seller's market. Like they go for crazy prices.
Yeah, I went on Heritage and I put an alert in for it, and I think it came up. Well, one of them came up once, and
Mhm.
the price was ridiculous. So I'm good with the Silver Age one, and we're actually reading the Silver Age one now, and he's more of a like a ghost debunker.
Detective, yeah.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
detective.
that's why I said in the Golden Age he's kind of more like Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah.
In the Golden Age, it's like that mystery, like but it's all fake at the end. Yeah, it's like
Now he works with another guy that's a
Dr. 13.
yeah, Dr. 13,
Mhm.
who's a supernatural debunker. So he goes
Yeah.
around and he discredits people that see ghosts and do all this supernatural stuff. And the Phantom Stranger kind of works with him.
Or he kind of
Mhm.
shuts up and annoys him is more like it.
Yeah,
but-
because he doesn't believe the Phantom Stranger is a ghost. So he wants to disprove him.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you can't catch him.
Yeah,
Because he disappears.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. And I think David just get books.
I don't know what I'm doing. But I've got some, probably almost every toy line in here is incomplete because it's just like comics, there's certain things that are just really, really difficult to pin down. Like, I don't know if you can see, it's right behind her hair here. These are the product people where I'm pointing right now.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see.
Made in 1976 for General Mills, for Kellogg's, and like that Snap, Crackle, and Pop. And
Oh yeah, I can see Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Yeah, those are cool.
I've been working on that set for almost 16 years now, and I'm still missing one. I've got on the very edge here I know you can't see it. It's the Trix Rabbit. The Trix Rabbit. In all of that time, this is the only one I've ever found for sale in the box.
Oh wow.
That's how tough that set is. And I just need one more. I need Frankenberry in the box.
Oh yeah, I always liked the Frankenberry and
Cereal.
the Dracula guy and the Ghost and yeah.
Yeah, and so certain things like that, it's like, maybe you'll find it, maybe you won't. Some stuff's a little easier, but it can still, there's certain things that there's less of, or like with those, it was the 70s, it was for little kids, you bought it through the cereal box, or you found them at Sears, the Sears catalog might have had it. And because I think like those Pillsbury Doughboys that you saw there, let me see, like these are all the Pillsbury Playthings. It's a different series.
Okay.
They were sold through Sears, and some of these are so hard to find it doesn't even make sense. Like the Poppy and Poppin' Fresh, because they're husband and wife actually.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
This is all their family. Like that's Grandmama and Grandpopper right here. But for some reason, these two, there's a million of them. You can find these in the box all day on eBay, but the further down the line you go, the harder it gets.
The more obscure characters or something, or
yeah, or it was a limited run or something. There's one character I'm missing called Raleigh, Uncle Raleigh, and it's a little puppet, and he comes with like a little car in the box. I think the last one that went out on auction on eBay got somewhere between $1,000-$1,200.
Wow.
And I'm like, it comes up for auction if it comes up, and that's like the first one in 3 years or something. I'm like, can I do it? Not, it's not so easy.
So do you ever sell your toys? Like, you ever sell like some to get some, or
sometimes, sometimes I do. Actually, I find myself more often selling new stuff. Like because we do unboxings and reviews also, because you see something, you're like, oh, that looks cool, and then you do the unboxing and it's like, oh, this kind of sucks. I want to turn around. turn around and sell it. But
Well,
no, usually I don't. Once it's in here, we're pretty much done for the most part, unless it was an upgrade. Like I got some Tonka Rock Lords recently that I
mhm,
had, but the person who was offering it to me, they were in a little bit better shape than mine. So
mhm.
okay,
So you upgrade and then you get rid of the
I'll leave.
lower grade. Yeah, I do the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the comic books, I'm kind of all over the place, but certain things that catch my eye, I'd like to find more of the Golden and Atomic Age Batmans if I can, which is again not that easy. Certain
Mhm.
things like that, or that Eerie, I'd like to find more of that. It doesn't come up very often.
Yeah, it's hard to get. I mean, there are they sometimes go up on eBay. I've seen them on eBay. I'm only missing one issue from the entire run, so it's not.
Wow.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, but yeah, it's one of those things. I think they're cool too.
Do you
So yes, what were we gonna say?
scenes?
Do I collect magazines?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a complete collection of Warren magazines,
Okay.
like everything they ever produced, and I also collect a little bit of Fangoria and stuff like that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll show you something that you might think is interesting. You know who the Thundercats are?
Yeah, of course.
This is from their live stage production of the Thundercats from the
Okay.
1980s. And this is their I think 1987. And this is their playbill.
That's really interesting.
If you can ever find one. And this is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I'll make
Because
a video.
look at these guys.
Oh wow.
I love the one guy who's like he's got to crawl around all day because he's Snarf.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But this is and it's a crossover because there's other characters in here. It's a failed production, as you can
Yeah, I
well
can imagine.
singing and dancing Thundercats. But I've had people ask me about this book because I did a showcase on it because you can't find this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine if the show ran that long, and probably not many people bought the playbill.
No, but you see the guest appearances here.
Wow.
What is it? SWAT
Steve
Cats,
Irwin.
Gumby, and Silverhawks.
Yeah.
That's Silverhawks back there, and you see how like Gumby and Pokey are on roller skates.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That's
there was
crazy.
a live singing and dancing on stage.
It kind of reminds me of like, they sometimes like I'm not sure if you guys have this as well, but like we have like something on ice, like Disney
Yeah.
on ice
The
or
Disney on Ice and
That's-
stuff like that.
That's what it is. And then they advertised the Silverhawks toys on the back.
wow.
But yeah, I've had people ask me about this one before because they're like, "Hey, you want to sell that catalog? I've been looking for one for years." I don't know, because it's so just cheesy and amazing.
Yeah, it looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, and apparently, let me see if I can find that one shot. There's one picture in here that's just nuts. If I can, yeah, just to give you an idea of what was going on in here. I mean, you see the guy like flying through the air on a rope, and motorcycles are jumping out.
And the guy on the motorcycle and what craziness. Okay.
Yeah, they really tried to put on a show there, but and when I did,
It didn't make it to Broadway.
yeah, well, when I did the showcase of this, I actually managed to find the original television commercial advertisement for it, and I
Oh
put it up.
wow.
I put it up on the channel so people could see it, but there's no, as far as I know, there's no actual film footage of that production.
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we should wrap up soon. Where can people find you, and what are you guys working on in terms of your channel?
Open by Chance on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
And I'll put all those links in the description for people that
Yeah.
want to check it out.
she has an independent channel called Lady Pop Hunter that she
Yeah,
does.
so that's how we actually met. We
Yeah,
met in person.
she does stuff on that channel, but the main channel is Open by Chance on YouTube. And we do a weekly roundup segment where we look at some of the new stuff that's coming out for the adult toy collectors market. We do unboxings, we do reviews, we tour shows,
discussions.
Yeah, we do adult collecting discussions talking about the industry and or certain parts of the genre,
or nostalgia, remembering, like
whatever happened to kind of discussions.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
And showcases of vintage pieces, tours. We toured another collector's private collection recently from he owns Retroville Collectibles. Stuff like that. So we have a lot going on the channel, actually.
Cool. Okay, I want to say thanks for coming on my channel, and if you're welcome to come again onto my channel and like show your toys and stuff. Yeah, it was fun having you. All the links to their channels will be in the description, people. And if you want to be on this show, put it in the comments and maybe I'll interview you as well. So thanks again, both Vanessa and David, for coming on the show, and their channel Open by Chance. So thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.